Captain Vexistar stood on the bridge of his warship, looking down at the small blue planet below. His yellow eyes glowed with excitement as his long claws tapped against the metal rail. Behind him, his crew of the galaxy's most feared predators prepared their weapons. This was going to be easy. For 300 years, the Catherian hunting fleet had traveled from world to world. They took the strongest creatures from each planet to fight in their great arenas. Some species tried to fight back. Others tried to hide. All of them failed in the end. The pattern was always the same. First, they would show their power by destroying a few cities. Then the frightened aliens would beg for mercy. Finally, they would hand over their best warriors as tribute. Captain Vextar had done this dance hundreds of times before. "Sir, we are receiving a transmission from the planet," said Officer Grimjaw. His insect-like head turned toward the captain. His forearms worked quickly at the control panel. "It appears to be coming from their leaders." Vextar smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. "Already? They must be even weaker than we thought. Put it on the main screen." The screen flickered to life. A human woman appeared wearing a dark blue suit. Her hair was gray and she had kind eyes behind small glasses. She looked completely calm as she spoke. "Greetings, visitors from the stars. I am Dr. Elena Vasquez, Secretary General of the United Nations. We represent the people of Earth." She paused and smiled warmly. "We have been expecting you." The bridge fell silent. Expecting them? That was new. Usually, first contact involved screaming and running. Dr. Vasquez continued speaking. "We understand that you have traveled a very long way to reach our world. Such a journey must be tiring. We would like to invite you to join us for dinner as our honored guests." Vexitar's crew looked at each other in confusion. Thornback, whose crystal body caught the ship's lights, made a low humming sound. "Captain, I do not understand. Are they surrendering? We have prepared a special feast at our United Nations headquarters." Dr. Vasquez went on. "We believe that food is the best way for different cultures to understand each other. We hope you will accept our invitation for tomorrow evening." Officer Grimjaw's compound eyes blinked rapidly. "Sir, this is not normal behavior for a prey species." Vexitar raised one clawed hand for silence. This was interesting. In all his years of conquest, no species had ever invited him to dinner. They usually shot at him first and asked questions later. "What kind of feast?" Vexitar asked, leaning forward toward the screen. Dr. Vasquez's smile grew wider. "Oh, something very special. We want to share the finest foods that Earth has to offer. We have been preparing for days to make sure everything is perfect for guests of your importance." The captain thought for a moment. This could be a trap. But what could these soft-looking creatures possibly do to warriors like them? Perhaps this was some kind of surrender ritual. Many species had strange customs when they gave up. "Very well," Vextar said finally. "We accept your invitation. But know this, human. If this is some trick, your planet will burn." Dr. Vasquez nodded politely. "Of course. We would never dream of being rude to our guests. We will send you the coordinates in time. Please bring whoever you like. We have prepared enough food for your entire command crew." The transmission ended, leaving the bridge in silence. Vextar's crew stared at the now empty screen. "Captain," said Grimjaw slowly, "this feels wrong. Prey species do not act this way." Thornback's crystal body pulsed with nervous light. "Perhaps they think feeding us will make us leave them alone." Vextar laughed, a sound like breaking rocks. "It does not matter what they think. We will eat their food, take their warriors, and add another planet to our collection. Besides, I am curious to see what these humans consider a proper meal." The next day, a small shuttle carried Captain Vextar and his 5 top officers down to Earth's surface. They had all worn their best armor and sharpest weapons. Even if this was just dinner, they were still predators. The United Nations building was larger than expected. Humans in dark suits met them at the entrance, all smiling and speaking politely. None of them seemed afraid. This bothered Vextar more than he wanted to admit. Dr. Vasquez herself greeted them at the door. She was even smaller in person, barely reaching Vextar's chest, yet she showed no fear as she shook hands with each of the deadly aliens. "Welcome to Earth," she said warmly. "We are so honored to have you here. Please follow me to the dining room. Our chefs have been working all day to prepare something special." As they walked through the building, Vextar noticed something strange. The humans they passed in the hallways looked at the alien predators with curiosity, not terror. Some even smiled and waved. Children pressed their faces against windows to get a better look. "Your people do not seem afraid," Vextar observed. Dr. Vasquez glanced back at him. Afraid? Oh no, why would we be afraid? You are our guests. Besides, we are quite excited to share our culture with you. Food is such an important part of who we are. They entered a large dining room with a long table covered in white cloth. The table was set with shining plates and glasses. Candles burned softly and the smell of cooking food filled the air. Please sit wherever you like, Dr. Vasquez said. Dinner will begin shortly. As the aliens took their seats, Vextar could not shake the feeling that something was very wrong. But the food smelled good, and he was hungry after the long journey. What was the worst that could happen at a simple dinner? The first course arrived on silver platters carried by humans in white uniforms. Vextar expected to see the usual tribute foods that scared species offered. Maybe some fruits or vegetables, or perhaps small animals that had died of old age. Instead, the servers placed elegant white plates in front of each alien guest. On each plate lay thin slices of raw meat, pink and fresh, arranged in beautiful patterns. The smell was rich and salty like the ocean. Dr. Vasquez stood up with a wine glass in her hand. Honored guests, we begin tonight with fresh great white shark. Caught just yesterday off the coast of South Africa, she announced with pride. The shark was 15 feet long and weighed over 2,000 pounds. Officer Grimjaw's forearms froze halfway to his plate. Excuse me, did you say shark? A human man in a chef's hat stepped forward, smiling broadly. Yes, indeed. I am Chef Marcus Chen. This particular great white was quite aggressive. It actually attacked our boat twice before we managed to catch it. Magnificent creature. Vextar's yellow eyes grew wide. He knew about sharks from the ship's database. They were apex predators, killing machines that ruled Earth's oceans. And these humans had caught one for dinner. You hunt sharks? Asked Thornback, his crystal body flickering with confused light. Oh, this is nothing, laughed Chef Chen. Wait until you see what comes next. Please try the shark. It is best when it is fresh. The aliens looked down at their plates uncertainly. Vextar was the first to take a bite. The meat was firm and had a clean taste like the sea itself. It was actually quite good. But the idea that humans hunted their planet's deadliest sea creatures for food made his stomach feel strange. The second course arrived quickly. This time the meat was cooked and came in thick steaks. The outside was blackened and crispy, while the inside remained pink and tender. Saltwater crocodile from northern Australia, announced Dr. Vasquez. These particular crocodiles can grow up to 23 feet long and have the strongest bite force of any animal on Earth. This one was caught in the wild just last week. Grimjaw dropped his fork. Crocodile? You hunt crocodiles? A woman at the table nodded enthusiastically. My name is Dr. Sarah Kim and I study marine life. Saltwater crocodiles are incredible hunters. They can wait underwater for hours without moving, then explode out of the water to catch their prey. They have killed many humans over the years. And you eat them? Vextar asked slowly. Well, yes, Dr. Kim replied, cutting into her steak. If something tries to eat us, we usually end up eating it instead. Fair is fair, right? The third course was even stranger. Small pieces of meat came wrapped in crispy golden coating. When Vextar bit into one, it had a strange, intense flavor and a slightly crunchy texture. Chef Chen returned to explain. Brazilian wandering spider, lightly fried in tempura batter. These spiders are considered among the most venomous in the world. Their bite can kill a human in hours, but when cooked properly, they taste quite nutty. The alien predators stared at their plates in shock. Thornback's crystal body had stopped glowing entirely. You eat venomous spiders? We eat lots of venomous things, said a young human woman with short red hair. I am Ambassador Chen and I have eaten snake, scorpion, and even poisonous fish. The key is knowing how to prepare them safely. The fourth course was a clear soup that glowed faintly blue in the candlelight. It looked beautiful but smelled dangerous like electricity and death. Box jellyfish consommé, announced Chef Chen proudly. The box jellyfish is one of the most venomous creatures in our oceans. One sting can kill 30 adult humans in minutes, but the flavor is extraordinary when prepared correctly. Vextar pushed his bowl away. This is madness. You are serving us your planet's most dangerous creatures. Dr. Vasquez looked confused. Is something wrong? Are you not enjoying the meal? You do not understand, Grimjaw said, his compound eyes wide with disbelief. On my world we fear the great poison worms. They are death itself. We build our cities to avoid them. You are eating your poison creatures for pleasure. Chef Chen clapped his hands together excitedly. Oh, you should meet my cousin. He keeps deadly snakes as pets. Some of them could kill an elephant with one bite, but he handles them every day just for fun. The fifth course arrived as the aliens sat in stunned silence. Small pieces of purple and blue meat were arranged artfully on each plate, looking almost too beautiful to eat. Blue-ringed octopus carpaccio, said Dr. Vasquez. Now please be careful with this one. Even though it is dead and prepared, the poison can still be dangerous if you have any cuts in your mouth. Thornback made a sound like wind chimes in a storm. You are serving us food that can still kill us after it is dead? Only if you are not careful, laughed Ambassador Chen. But that is what makes it exciting, right? Where is the fun in eating something completely safe? Captain Vexistar looked around the table at his crew. These humans were casually eating creatures that would terrify the bravest warriors in the galaxy. They spoke about hunting deadly monsters the way other species talked about picking flowers. I do not understand, he said finally. Why do you eat such dangerous things? Dr. Vasquez tilted her head thoughtfully. Well, they taste good. And besides, if we did not eat them, they might eat us instead. Humans have always believed that the best way to deal with something dangerous is to make it into dinner. Chef Chen nodded enthusiastically. Plus, the more dangerous something is to catch, the better it tastes. Anyone can eat a cow, but it takes real skill to turn a great white shark into sashimi. As the servers cleared away the fifth course, Vextar realized that something fundamental had changed. He had come to Earth expecting to find weak prey creatures. Instead, he was sitting at a table with predators who ate other predators for entertainment, and they were only halfway through dinner. While the servers prepared the next course, Dr. Vasquez invited her guests to share stories about their home worlds. She seemed genuinely interested in learning about their cultures, which confused the alien predators even more. Tell us about your hunting traditions, she said to Vextar, pouring herself a glass of wine. We would love to hear about the great hunts of your people. Vextar straightened up in his chair, happy to talk about something he understood. My people are the greatest hunters in the galaxy. We fear nothing. On my home world of Kither, we hunt the great rock beasts. They stand 30 feet tall and have skin like armor. It takes 20 warriors to bring down just one. The humans around the table nodded politely, but they did not look impressed. A man with gray hair and scars on his arms leaned forward. I am Bear Thompson, he said in a rough voice. I guide hunting trips in Alaska. Last month I helped a client track a polar bear. We followed it for 3 days through a blizzard. Polar bears can weigh 1,500 pounds and run 30 miles per hour. Oh, and they hunt humans for food sometimes. Vextar blinked. You hunt creatures that hunt you back? Well, sure, Bear said, shrugging. Makes it more interesting. Plus, polar bear meat tastes great if you cook it right. Officer Grimjaw spoke up nervously. On my world, we fear the void serpents. They hide in space itself and swallow entire ships. We have built our fleet to avoid the areas where they hunt. Dr. Kim smiled at him. That sounds fascinating. Here on Earth, many people keep venomous snakes as pets. My neighbor has a king cobra in her living room. She feeds it by hand every week. As pets? Grimjaw's voice went up an octave. But why? She says they are beautiful and interesting to watch, Dr. Kim replied. Some people even let venomous snakes bite them on purpose to build up immunity to the poison. Thornback's crystal body flickered rapidly. That is insane. Why would anyone do such a thing? Ambassador Chen laughed. Some humans enjoy taking risks. We have people who jump out of airplanes for fun, or climb the highest mountains on Earth just to say they did it. Last year, a friend of mine went swimming with great white sharks just to see what it felt like. Swimming with sharks? Fexter asked weakly. Oh yes, said Dr. Kim. Shark diving is quite popular. We get into metal cages and lower ourselves into water full of great whites. Sometimes people do it without the cages. Bear Thompson nodded. I once knew a guy who wrestled alligators for money. 12-foot-long killing machines with jaws that can snap a human in half. He would grab them barehanded and flip them over. For money, asked Grimjaw. Well, also for fun, Bear admitted. Humans like to test themselves against dangerous things. It makes us feel alive. The sixth course arrived, interrupting the conversation. This time, each plate held several small, perfect pieces of fish that seemed to glow in the candlelight. Fugu, announced Chef Chen with obvious pride. This is a puffer fish from Japan. If prepared incorrectly, it will kill you in minutes. There is no cure for the poison. It takes years of training to learn how to cut it safely. The aliens stared at their plates in horror. You are serving us food that your own chefs might prepare wrong? Fextar asked. That is what makes it special, Chef Chen replied cheerfully. In Japan, eating fugu is considered the ultimate dining experience. The slight risk of death makes every bite more exciting. Dr. Vasquez took a piece of the fish with her chopsticks and ate it calmly. Of course, Chef Chen is one of the best fugu chefs in the world. We would never put our guests in real danger. But there is still some danger, Thornback asked, his crystal body now pulsing with anxiety. Life is dangerous, said Ambassador Chen. Humans learned long ago that the most beautiful and delicious things are often the most deadly. We decided to embrace that fact rather than fear it. As they ate the potentially lethal fish, Bear Thompson continued sharing stories. I once guided a hunting party that wanted to catch a Kodiak bear. Biggest bears in North America. This one was over 9 feet tall and weighed 1,400 pounds. When we finally cornered it, the bear charged straight at us. What happened? Asked Grimjaw despite himself. We killed it, of course, Bear said matter-of-factly. Then we ate it. Bear steaks for a week. Tasted like victory. Dr. Kim jumped in with her own story. I study sharks for a living, which means I spend a lot of time in the water with them. Last year I was diving near seal colonies during feeding season. Great whites everywhere, all in hunting mode. Were you not afraid? Asked Thornback. Afraid? Why would I be afraid? They are just sharks. Beautiful, perfect killing machines, but still just animals. I have been bitten a few times over the years, but that is part of the job. Bextar felt his world turning upside down. These humans spoke about deadly encounters the way his people talked about pleasant walks in the garden. They treated mortal danger like a hobby. Do you not have safe activities on your world? He asked desperately. Dr. Vasquez thought for a moment. Well, some humans enjoy reading books or playing music, but even our safe activities can be dangerous. People die playing sports, hiking in mountains, or even driving to work. We have something called extreme sports, added Ambassador Chen. Humans throw themselves off cliffs with nothing but a piece of cloth to slow their fall. We call it base jumping. Others surf massive waves that can crush them against rocks, said Dr. Kim, or race cars at speeds that would kill them instantly if they crashed. Chef Chen returned from the kitchen, beaming with excitement. The next course is ready. Tonight we have something very special. Authentic cobra wine from Vietnam paired with live octopus from Korea. Live octopus? Grimjaw whispered. Oh yes, Chef Chen said happily. The octopus is still moving when you eat it. You have to chew quickly, or it might grab onto your throat with its tentacles. The alien predators looked at each other in growing panic. They had come to Earth expecting to find a planet full of prey animals. Instead, they had discovered a world of creatures so dangerous that they ate their own apex predators for fun, wrestled with monsters for entertainment, and served each other food that could kill them just to make dinner more exciting. And the humans were smiling the entire time. As they waited for the 7th course, Dr. Vasquez decided to share some human history. She spoke casually, as if discussing the weather, but every word made the alien predators more uncomfortable. Humans have always had an interesting relationship with dangerous creatures. She began. Thousands of years ago, we built great arenas where our warriors would fight lions, tigers, and bears for entertainment. Bextar nearly choked on his drink. Your warriors fought apex predators for fun? Well, sometimes it was punishment for criminals, Dr. Vasquez admitted. But yes, many did it voluntarily. The crowds loved watching humans battle wild animals. We called them gladiators, Bear Thompson laughed. We still do similar things today. Ever heard of bullfighting? Humans go into a ring with an angry bull that weighs 2,000 pounds and has sharp horns. The human has nothing but a red cape and a sword. Why? Asked Thornback, his crystal body flickering weakly. Tradition. Mostly, said Ambassador Chen. Also, humans enjoy proving they can outsmart something bigger and stronger than they are. Dr. Kim leaned forward excitedly. Oh, that reminds me of rodeo. Cowboys climb onto wild horses and bulls that try their best to throw them off and stomp them. The goal is to stay on for 8 seconds while the animal goes crazy. 8 seconds? Grimjaw asked. That is all? 8 seconds on an angry bull feels like 8 hours, Bear said with a grin. I tried it once when I was young. Broke 3 ribs in my left arm. Best 8 seconds of my life. The 7th course arrived, and Chef Chen presented it with his usual enthusiasm. Cobra wine, aged for 6 months with a real cobra inside the bottle. The snake's venom mixes with the rice wine to create a unique flavor. And here we have live octopus cut fresh just moments ago. The octopus pieces were indeed still moving, their tentacles curling and uncurling on the plates. The wine had a large snake coiled inside the bottle, its fangs clearly visible. The cobra died naturally before being placed in the wine, Chef Chen assured them. But its venom is still potent. Drink slowly, and do not drink too much unless you want to spend tomorrow morning in the hospital. Vextar stared at his glass of snake wine. You drink poison for pleasure? Small amounts of poison can be good for you, said Dr. Vasquez, taking a careful sip. It builds character. As the aliens nervously attempted to eat moving octopus, Bear Thompson continued sharing human traditions. In ancient times, human warriors would drink the blood of their enemies to gain their strength. We also made weapons and armor from the bones and hide of dangerous animals we killed. We still do that, added Dr. Kim. Some of the best leather comes from alligators and sharks, and snakeskin makes beautiful boots. Ambassador Chen nodded. Humans have always believed that wearing or eating something dangerous makes you stronger. It is why we turn our greatest enemies into fashion accessories. Grimjaw managed to swallow a piece of writhing octopus. How do you not fear these creatures? Dr. Vasquez considered the question seriously. I think it is because humans evolved differently than most species. We were not the biggest or strongest predators on Earth, we had to be smarter. We are persistence hunters, explained Dr. Kim. We do not run fast, but we can run for a very long time. Our ancestors would chase prey animals for days until they collapsed from exhaustion. Bear Thompson picked up the story. Early humans learned to hunt in groups and use tools. We could not outfight a mammoth, so we trapped them in pits or drove them off cliffs. We could not outrun a deer, so we chased it until it died from exhaustion. That sounds terrible, said Thornback. It was very effective, Dr. Vasquez replied calmly. Humans became so good at hunting that we killed off most of the large animals on Earth. Mammoths, saber-toothed cats, giant ground sloths. We hunted them all to extinction. The alien predators sat in stunned silence. Vextar finally found his voice. You hunted entire species to death? Not on purpose, Ambassador Chen said quickly. We just got very good at killing things. Sometimes we got carried away. Chef Chen returned with the 8th course. Tonight we have something very special from my homeland. Ballot, a duck egg that has been fertilized and aged for 18 days before boiling. He cracked open an egg to show the contents. Inside was a partially developed duckling, complete with tiny bones and feathers. Eat everything, Chef Chen instructed cheerfully. The bones are soft enough to chew. Grimjaw made a sound like a broken machine. You eat unborn animals? Balut is considered a delicacy in the Philippines, said Dr. Vasquez, expertly eating her egg. It is believed to give strength and courage. As the aliens struggled with their eggs, the conversation turned to human warfare. General Patricia Hayes, who had been quiet until now, finally spoke up. She was an elderly woman with steel gray hair and cold blue eyes. I have been listening to your stories about conquest, she said to Vextar. You mentioned that your people have taken 847 worlds? 847, Vextar confirmed proudly. Grateful to talk about something he understood. General Hayes nodded slowly. Impressive. Humans have been at war with each other for our entire recorded history. Over 5,000 years of constant fighting, we have perfected the art of killing our own species. Your own species? Asked Thornback. Oh yes, General Hayes said calmly. We fight wars over territory, resources, ideas, religion, and sometimes just because we are bored. Our last global war involved over 70 countries and killed more than 70 million people. The aliens stared at her in horror. But that was 80 years ago. General Hayes continued. We have gotten much better at warfare since then. Now we have weapons that can destroy entire planets. Entire planets? Vextar whispered. Nuclear weapons, Dr. Vasquez explained matter-of-factly. We invented them 75 years ago. One bomb can level a city. We built enough of them to destroy Earth several times over. General Hayes smiled coldly. The beauty of human warfare is that we practice on ourselves. Every technique, every weapon, every strategy has been tested in real combat against other humans. We have been preparing for interstellar war since before we left our home planet. As the 9th course arrived, the alien predators realized they were not having dinner with prey animals. They were dining with the galaxy's most dangerous predators, who had spent millennia perfecting the art of killing while casually eating everything that tried to kill them first. The final course arrived as the alien predators sat in stunned silence. Chef Chen wheeled out a cart with several small dishes and a pot of steaming liquid. For dessert tonight, we have honey cakes made with honey from African killer bees, he announced proudly. These bees are so aggressive that they will chase threats for miles. Getting their honey requires special protective suits and years of experience. He poured the steaming liquid into small cups, and to finish, coffee made from beans that have passed through the digestive system of wild civets. The animals eat the coffee cherries and we collect the beans from their droppings. Grimjaw's compound eyes bulged. You drink something made from animal waste? It is called kopi luwak and it is very expensive, Chef Chen replied cheerfully. The digestive process gives the coffee a unique flavor. Very smooth, very rare. As the aliens stared at their dessert in disbelief, Dr. Vasquez stood up with her coffee cup raised. I would like to propose a toast, she said warmly, to new friendships and cultural understanding between our peoples. Captain Vexitar slowly raised his cup, his claws shaking slightly. Dr. Vasquez, I must ask you something directly. Are you threatening us? Dr. Vasquez looked genuinely surprised. Threatening you? Of course not. Why would you think that? You have spent the evening serving us your planet's most dangerous predators, Vextar said carefully. You have told us stories about hunting creatures that hunt you back. You have explained how humans kill their own species for practice, and now you are feeding us food made from animal waste and gathered by creatures that could kill you. Dr. Vasquez tilted her head thoughtfully. I suppose it might seem strange from your perspective, but this is just normal human behavior. We wanted to share our culture with you. Bear Thompson laughed. If we wanted to threaten you, we would have done something much more obvious, like inviting you to watch our extreme fighting championships. Extreme fighting? Asked Thornback weakly. Humans fighting other humans in cages using mixed martial arts, explained Ambassador Chen. Sometimes they fight until one person is unconscious. The audience cheers for more violence. General Hayes leaned back in her chair. Or we could have shown you our nuclear submarine fleet. 96 vessels that can stay underwater for months and launch planet-killing. Missiles from anywhere in the ocean. We have 78,000 nuclear weapons currently deployed, added Dr. Vasquez casually. Each one more powerful than the bombs we used to end our last World War. Vextar felt his heart racing. Why are you telling us this? Because you asked if we were threatening you, Dr. Vasquez replied with a smile. We wanted to clarify that we were not. This has just been a friendly dinner. Chef Chen clapped his hands together. Speaking of which, we have prepared some earth delicacies for you to take home. Dried scorpions, pickled shark fins, and some of our finest snake wine. The alien predators looked at each other in growing panic. Officer Grimjaw leaned toward his captain and whispered, Sir, I think we should leave now. Captain Vextar cleared his throat nervously. Dr. Vasquez, perhaps we should discuss the terms of our arrangement. Oh, there is no need for any arrangement, Dr. Vasquez said brightly. Earth is perfectly capable of taking care of itself. We have been doing it for quite some time. But surely you could benefit from joining the Catherian Empire, Vextar insisted. We could offer you protection, trade opportunities, cultural exchange. General Hayes made a sound that might have been laughter. Protection from what? We are the apex predators on this planet. Our biggest threats come from ourselves. Besides, added Dr. Kim, we prefer to handle our own problems. It builds character. Ambassador Chen nodded enthusiastically. Plus, we enjoy the challenge. Life would be boring if it was completely safe. Vextar tried a different approach. Perhaps a mutual defense pact? Our fleets could work together against common enemies. That is very kind, Dr. Vasquez replied politely. But Earth has its own defense systems. We have been preparing for interstellar threats since the 1940s. Bear Thompson grinned. We have been watching science fiction movies about alien invasions for almost a century. We have had plenty of time to think about strategy. Movies? Asked Thornback. Fictional stories where aliens come to Earth and try to conquer us, explained Ambassador Chen. They usually lose. Humans enjoy imagining how we would fight back against superior technology. General Hayes stood up and walked to a window overlooking the city. Every human child grows up watching stories about defeating alien invaders. It is part of our culture. We have been preparing for this conversation for generations. Chef Chen returned from the kitchen with several large bags. Here are your take-home gifts. We included some recipe cards in case you want to prepare these foods for your own people. Vextar stood up quickly. his crew following his lead. "Thank you for your hospitality. We should return to our ship now." "Of course," said Dr. Vasquez, walking them toward the door. "Thank you for accepting our invitation. It has been wonderful getting to know you." As they reached the exit, she handed Captain Vextar a small card. "This has my contact information in case you ever want to visit again. Earth is always open to friendly visitors." Vextar looked at the card numbly. "And if visitors are not friendly?" Dr. Vasquez's smile never wavered, but her eyes grew cold. "Well, unfriendly visitors usually end up on the menu eventually. But I am sure that will not be a problem with civilized people like yourselves." An hour later, Captain Vextar sat on the bridge of his ship, staring down at Earth. His crew had barely spoken since leaving the planet's surface. "Sir," said Grimjaw quietly, "what are your orders?" Vextar thought about the dinner, the casual way humans spoke about eating apex predators, their stories of hunting creatures that hunted them back, their history of warfare against their own species, their weapons that could destroy planets. "Update the galactic database," he said finally. "Mark Earth as a restricted system. Classification, do not engage. Apex predator homeworld. Should we report to High Command?" asked Thornback. Vextar shook his head. "Who would believe us? A species that eats its own apex predators for dinner? That builds weapons capable of destroying their own planet just to be prepared for war? That serves potentially lethal food to guests just to make conversation more interesting?" As the Catherian fleet jumped to hyperspace heading for easier prey, the bridge fell silent. In the cargo hold, several bags of Earth delicacies sat unopened. None of the crew wanted to try food that had been prepared by creatures who treated mortal danger as a hobby. Back on Earth, Dr. Vasquez sat in her office, updating her files. The dinner had gone exactly as planned. Earth's reputation as a planet full of harmless prey animals had been permanently corrected. She made a note in her calendar for next week. Another alien species wanted to visit Earth. This time a group of energy beings who claimed to be immortal. Chef Chen was already excited about the challenge of preparing a menu for creatures who had never eaten physical food before. Dr. Vasquez smiled as she turned off her computer. It was going to be an interesting week, but then again life on Earth always was.